I guess I have to start with Grella. You spent the lion's share of this tournament feuding with the entire nation of Australia. They're now out of the competition. What do you think of it?
Yeah, that got out of control, by the way. I was put in a situation where I had to go either left or right, and right was doubling down, and so I did it. I love football. I love having the pleasure and the honor of covering it. I love watching the World Cup of all things, Champions League as well, and all the other properties we have, but the World Cup in particular. In football and in life and in everything, you can talk. I want to do this. I want to do that. Yeah, our group is this. Our group is that. Yeah, we train like this, and we do. But in the end, the whistle blows, and you go on the scale, and everything you did weighs, and they say what's your worth. And in the end, for Australia, I understand they have an unbelievable spirit. I understand they love to play sport. I understand that they have pride when they talk about their football team, the Socceroos. But in the end, when you step on the scale, you have to show what you've been working on. Where's the players? Where's the quality? Where's the thing?
Yeah.
You don't have it. There's a lot of things I wanted to play in the Premier League. I wanted to play champ, but with my mouth, I never did it. Same with Australia. They wanted to accomplish something in the World Cup, but just with the emotions, with their own head. But in reality, when the whistle blows and the football starts, you have to be good with that, with the football. And they're nowhere near good enough with the football. And at the end of the day, did they fight? Yes. Did they do their country proud? 100%. Should they be proud of the job that they did? For sure. Did they fight to the end? For sure. But in the end, you need to know how to play with the football. And there's levels to it, and they don't have the high level with the football. End the story.
Yeah. No, listen, what are you going to say? Listen, they did a nice job. They got out of the group. I think when you come to a World Cup, the first phase is getting out of that group. They got out of the group. So today they showed that, their limitations. We'll say offensively, they weren't great. You look at the quality of players they have. They're developing. You can look at Herrington on a positive. He's an 18-year-old kid who got to play in 2 World Cup games. So that's the future of this group. So, we saw Beach in goal. I think he's the future of this group. So, I mean, you can look at it 2 ways. I'll also look at it and say more than anything, this is a young team. This is a team that has a chance to develop, and they're putting money into their program. But today there was just a few things that threw me off. When you talk about switching a 34-year-old goalkeeper who plays 1 minute, who's not warmed up, who's not done anything, and now you expect him to react quickly at 34 compared to a 22-year-old kid who was in goal, I think there's just a few coaching decisions, I think, that kind of threw me off with Australia this World Cup.
Yeah, and some people are calling them galaxy brain decisions, where you're trying to outthink things. Go back to the U.S. game. 2 guys in the forward line had a great game. They start the U.S. game from the bench after they play well against Turkey. And then this decision to take the goalkeeper off. It's one of those where if he goes and makes 2 saves, it looks brilliant, but he only got close to 1 of them. The other 3 were nowhere near it. It seems like a bizarre decision from Tony Popovich to have taken his goalkeeper off now.
Yeah, Tony Popovich, I hear good things about him. Obviously, speaking to some guys that I play with in Australia that were also part of the national team back in the day that know him in the same, very similar circles. Always hear good things about him. From the outside looking in, from my perspective, I see against the U.S. was a massive game in the group stage where he sat Herrington and Volpato. He put them both on the bench and didn't play them until the second half. For me, was a mistake. And we had loads of Australians in the studio saying, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Overthought the situation, overthought the game against the U.S. Okay, fine. Then the same thing at the end here. First of all, taking them out, maybe in the 70th minute, maybe he knows more that they're tired or whatever. Volpato and Herrington, what we said at halftime, probably the 2 best players. Yeah. Pulls them out in the 75th or whatever it may be. And then the goalkeeper change. The goalkeeper, and he didn't sniff. This is obviously the young Beach, who was fantastic in the tournament, but he got subbed out so that Ryan could go in goal, and then he was off the pace, like Marcelo says. He was just coming cold off the bench. I mean, you've been sitting on the bench now for an hour and a half, maybe longer, actually, because of the extra time. So I think it's just a crazy decision from the manager, and at the end of the day, who knows if it would have made a difference, but... yeah,
especially reactionary. This play right here, this was the best save of the day. I mean, he's leaning one way. He slaps it over the top of his head to keep him in the game. My problem is, listen, I get the intimidation factor. We've seen it with Holland before, and other teams have done it. But when you're switching a 6'2" goalkeeper for a 6'7", 6'8", that intimidating presence in the goal, I get it. Because now the wingspan, now you walk up to take a penalty kick, you're like, oh, my Lord, this dude's huge. I get that part. But they were both the same size. As a matter of fact, I think Beach is an inch taller. So I don't understand. It's like putting in a player. Taking a penalty kick is one thing. But trying to get into a rhythm, it takes you. It takes you 10, 15 minutes to get into a game. A goalkeeper, what did he do? That's what I don't get. Ryan got a ball, he sat there, he put his gloves, and then he's ready to take a penalty kick. So I think sometimes coaches overthink it. The other problem I have is, listen, I know, we are the most skillful people on that field, our center backs. You know, we are fantastic. And then you put an 18-year-old kid. Let's be honest, an 18-year-old kid, you know he's nervous, and you saw him. That's the way he usually goes, and he usually tucks it into the side corner with Colorado. Here you see him a little nervous. He goes over the top. What happened to Touré? What happened to your midfielders? What happened to the men on that team that should have stood up? I mean, listen, I'm not going to allow an 18-year-old because I'm nervous. I'm going to take a penalty kick. So, good for him. He stood up. He said, I'll take one. But that's weird that there are other midfielders, forwards, there are other guys on that team that should have taken. I mean, when you take penalty kicks, would you rather have a forward or a defender taking it?
Forward. 100%.
Exactly. Midfielder. And you put 2 center backs out of the first 4. That's another strange decision for me.
And Marcelo, you have been around Lucas Herrington because he is a Colorado Rapids player in Major League Soccer. 18-year-old kid who's been linked this summer with a move to Barcelona, which obviously portends well for his potential as a player. How damaging is this to be the player who misses the final one in the shootout that sees him out of the tournament?
I mean, I look at it positively because an 18-year-old kid stepping up to take a penalty kick, some 18-year-olds would be like, no, I don't want to do it. This kid stood up. He went in there and he took it. He takes him in Colorado too. So listen, more credit to him, showing his character, his maturity at 18 years old. I think playing consistently every day with Colorado, you can see the difference in this kid. But at the end of the day, man, I'm happy for him. He played well. He had a good game. It's unfortunate about PKs. PKs are a crapshoot nowadays. So he mishit it. He hit the crossbar. But this kid, if he stays in Colorado, has a good future in MLS for a few more years before he gets sold. Or, you know what, they sell him to Barcelona and he gets loaned out and he has a great career, but the kid's got great potential.
And unfortunately for him, he is the last player that takes for Australia in this penalty shootout. We haven't really talked about it from an Egypt point of view. What did they do well in this game, both in the 120 minutes and in the shootout to win it?
I thought, obviously, they get the goal from a set piece, which is pretty good. And then they score the own goal. Okay, fine. Large parts of the game, they controlled the possession. But I was just surprised that they were not able to create more moments, finish off more chances. The Marmouche chance is the one that's just burned into my memory. Because in this tournament and in this competition, there's going to be moments in both boxes that are going to define the performance, right? So if you play really well, all that does is afford you more opportunities to go win the game. But if you don't take those opportunities, then you get into a 1-1 penalty shootout with Australia, where I think Egypt have a lot more quality. Marmouche and Salah not having the best game. So just surprised with the moments inside both boxes that they didn't get those right. Scoring an own goal, obviously, and then there was 2 or 3 big misses, not half chances, goals that they missed that could put this game far out of touch earlier on, where they can have more control. Obviously, now they have to play. They played extra time, so that you have to take that into account when moving on to the next round as well. I think they were in a covered stadium today,
yes, yeah,
right?
They're in Dallas.
So okay, fine, but moving forward, you might not always be in a covered stadium, or you might have played 2 or 3 games already in the heat, and we're obviously in a heat wave at the moment too. So less minutes is better. So I thought they would manage the game better.
Yeah, I would agree 100% with that. I think there were times where I think we were talking, they were disorganized, but they got through those moments. And that's the beauty of playing in this World Cup, is if you can get through those moments where the other team finds that momentum, they got through those moments. And at the end, listen, they were a little bit more offensive minded. I think Mo Salah played his best 15 minutes, 20 minutes in that game was in the overtime period. He was active, he was moving, he was hitting the corner kicks. He was just buzzing around finally. He looked like himself. So, but listen, that's a tough team to play against. They're disciplined. Every single guy tracks back, gets tactically in their position where they have to cover. They're closing spaces down. So, for me, listen, you never want to go 120 minutes, but they found a way to get through it. Congratulations. I think that's their first win, right, in the knockout phase for them. And, now they've got a real challenge. We'll see who they have next. We'll see. I don't want to say. But I don't want to jinx it.
Argentina.
I'll say it for you. It's Argentina.
I don't want to jinx it. I wore the blue, but I don't want to jinx it. But listen, they got through. That's all that counts. It doesn't matter when you get to the knockout if you play well, if you play poorly. The important thing is, how do you win? You got to win that game and you move on.
They haven't reached the round of 16 since 1934. They win a knockout game for the first time in their history. And the man over our shoulder, Mo Salah, is going to be the one who's at the center of the attention. Takes his penalty, takes it very well, goes down the middle with a cheeky little Panenka as well. From a legacy standpoint, this is as good as it gets for a player like this, who obviously has done so much for Liverpool. But for Egypt, those accomplishments almost seem like a little bit more. They seem like they're more significant over the course of the longer term of his career. To get your country to a knockout round is as good as it gets, and to win a game, it has to be incredibly special for him.
Yeah, we heard the announcers, the commentator speaking at the game that even though he was not having his best game, just because of the fact that he's there, it lifts the group. And it also causes defenders to pay more attention to where he is at all times and what's he going to do. And so it's very important that he's there, and it's unbelievable what he's been able to do. Has he slowed down now in the last maybe 6 months? For sure. Is he the same guy? I don't know, maybe in spurts. He's not the same guy consistently as he was. But if they're going to move forward and progress and maybe even frustrate Argentina, which is going to be difficult, he's going to have an awesome game. He's going to have to play 10 times better than he played today.
But Grella, you kept asking, where is he on the pitch? And he was playing at times through the middle of the field, and he was getting drowned out by those big Australian center backs. It seems like he eventually found his way, and we see based off the heat map, it is that usual area right to the right of the penalty area and getting into those positions.
How sure are we that this heat map is accurate here for SofaScore? Because I saw him, like in midfield positions, not really affecting the game too much. I think Marcelo made a good point that in the last 15 minutes, I think he was hanging out in those areas and creating 1v1 situations where he's going on these dicey runs. But for me, it was just too slow, not enough danger. I think when you think of Mo Salah, you think like you have nightmare before you play him. You think, oh, he's going to spin me, he's going to turn me inside out, he's going to be shooting me. And he kind of just hung out in positions where I think was comfortable for Australian defense.
You know, maybe conserving energy, too, towards the end, because he knew maybe he had to take a penalty kick. He didn't want to run. You know what I love about it is how much they love their country. You look at that picture, he's in tears. I mean, that's what this sport's about. This is what it's about, the passion, the winning, and what it means to this country, to that country, and to him, and to this team, and to the coaching staff. You see them over there hugging and crying and in tears. So, listen, Mo Salah, as long as he's on the field, this team will always have a chance to win, just because of the fact that I know if I'm playing against him, there's going to be somebody covering him, and I'm coming over to slide. So now you're taking that opportunity to open up a space for somebody else.